I would like to review this book and give you many of the games by Bobby Fischer that clearly has been one of the greatest chess players of all time, if not the greatest. The book is written by this Grandmaster, Andrew Soltis, that is really good at writing, yet I am like 4 or 5 games into the book, and I find some things that a reader that maybe is not at my level, because the point is, did Soltis brought it for, I don't know, international masters and grandmasters, or did he write this book for club players? Well, if he wrote it for club players or beginners that want to know about Fischer, I don't think it's particularly good. Why? Because I continue to find lines that are truncated, lines in the sense in the comment tell you, look, black could have played this or this, and then the line is kind of cut off with an evaluation that is not clear. What is the reason that is good or bad? It doesn't tell you. So that's why you need a video like this one by me, because I will tell you why. Or I will tell you, hey, I don't know, or my opinion is different. I am not claiming to be a chess god, the best chess grandmaster of all time, or even to be at Andrew Soltis level. I'm not claiming that. I am not claiming to be someone that uses an engine. I don't want to use an engine. Why? Because if I use an engine, I still don't know. Because some people says, but you see, the engine here gives +1 for white. Great. Show me that you can win the game without the engine. Because against me, probably you will not win. So if you don't win, what that +1 means? Nothing. Okay? With that said, I like this book because it shows me a lot of games played by Fischer that I didn't know. Some are common and have been published in other books, but some, like the one that I'm going to show you, it's totally new for me. So this game was Fischer Charles Kalme, played in the US Championship, New York, 1958-1959. E4, E5, Knight F3, Knight C6, Bishop B5, A6, Bishop A4, Knight F6, Castle, and Bishop E7. Now the game continues with Rook E1. Notice that generally when I show you a line that is written in the book, when I pause the video, I return to that position from the beginning, because I'm trying to memorize the move. But there is also another reason. What is the reason here? The reason is that sometimes I ask myself why some moves were played. Again, I'm not telling you that I know the theory of a Ruy Lopez up to move 25. At all. I don't know the Ruy Lopez at all, apart the first 4 or 5 moves. Okay? But I think it's interesting that you take a kind of active viewer when you're watching a game, because if you're not active and asking yourself questions, you're wasting time. For example, the game continues with Rook E1, right? But why he didn't play Bishop takes E6? You say, well, he played this. Well, great. Look how ugly is this pawn structure. Then, let's do this. Oops. I've gained a pawn? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Attack. And you understand, things start to become a little ugly here, right? Because I have the open file. So why not to have a position that seems kind of attacking? Again, I'm not saying anything, but the problem is, in the book, this kind of simple continuation that you would find in a tournament game, in a weekend tournament game played between club players, would surely happen. And so why not comment about it? Okay, so let's return back to the position, and let's hope that, like always, I don't make a mistake. So he played, sorry, you see, already there was a mistake, because bishop e7 was played after castle, okay, and then rook e1, defending it, so it seems it's important to defend it, but then black plays b5, so it doesn't let you take, because then the take would be real. So clearly the continuation I told you must be wrong in some ways, but you need to ask yourself, and the author should have put that to give you an idea of why it's wrong, if this book is not written for grandmasters or professional players or title players that are supposed to know. Okay? Today you would solve my question with a click on the engine, but that wouldn't make you strong, would make you weaker and weaker. Bishop b3, d6. So why would it make you weaker? Because you are not able to find the truth by yourself. You can only rely on a crutch. c3, castle, h3, it seems now it's important to avoid the pinning, knight a5, as you can see, that's why c3 was played, probably to challenge the center, but to give a square, a retreat square to this bishop, because white doesn't want to lose the bishop pair. Now, knight a5 is not played only for that, but it's surely played to challenge the center. Why? Because this pawn is doing nothing, so it needs to be thrown at the center. That's a fact. So, you see, I don't know the theory, but I know why they move and how they move the pieces. Bishop c2, c5. Again, remember that the side pawns are less valuable than the central one, so one wants to exchange side pawns, okay? d4, queen c7, keeping the tension, you don't exchange right away. Knight bd2 and knight c6, so the knight goes back in the center because here is doing nothing. At the same time, we see this knight b1, d2 that is clearly making a maneuver. What is the maneuver? I don't know. I think it's knight f1, and then he could play g4, knight g3 because he wants to go here, or knight f1, e3. Because probably he wants to go here on d5, wants to use this outpost, okay? So I don't know what's gonna happen because I never saw this game, but I have an idea that when they move a piece, there is something behind. And unfortunately, we are at move 12, the author didn't explain you one move. So that's why you need someone like me, because maybe you are a player rated 1500, 1200, 1000, and you don't have any idea how to enjoy this beautiful game played by Fischer. Okay, at this point Fischer plays d takes e5, d takes e5, so you say, okay, there is an open file. Yes, there is an open file, but this file cannot be used because there are too many pieces controlling everything. The game continues with knight f1 and bishop e6. As you can see, all the squares in this file are controlled by pieces or enemy pieces, so to put a rook will not really help you very much. Okay? Here there is a comment that is interesting, because Soltis says Kalme, who gave up chess for mathematics a few years later, heads into what was a main line of a Lopez in 1959. So this was something they played in 1959. I guess today they play something different. I don't know. But honestly, I think you could find this kind of opening and this kind of play also in 2024 in a weekend tournament. Knight e3, like I told you, he wants probably this. Rook a d8, typical move to take a file. Queen e2. And now there is a move that I advise you not to play. He played g6. Here obviously there is a comment by Soltis that says it was better to play c4. Yeah, because you get here a outpost and then you get a square for your bishop. So it may make sense, but g6 not so good because he wants to avoid that the knight goes here, but this creates a weakness that can maybe exploited later. Okay, let's move on. Knight g5, bishop c8. Obviously, as you can see, the two players are good, right? They want to avoid to lose the bishop pair, which means they are aware of the bishop pair power. e4. So on this wing, you couldn't do more than that. Now he's attacking on the other wing. c4. Notice that there are some comments that I don't give you because honestly they don't explain anything. A takes b5, a takes b5, and now there is b3. This b3 makes sense because it's continuously attacking the pawns, right? And now there is something that is interesting, which is b4. And here it says the fourth new move designed to soften up d4. So he wants to get this outpost, and so he needs to eliminate the pawn c3. Now, the other interesting part is that we are at move 20. Move 20, and this is the rule Lopez. So, you want to learn this opening, can you really memorize more than 20 moves? It seems that before this game, knight a5 was the move played. Okay, so this is a novelty. Now here the author does a good job in showing you all the possible moves. For example, what happens if, no? Let's say that you play c takes b3, no? And they show you what happens. And you could see it, but I'm not interested in that. I want to show you another thing that is a little more important. It's the comment after this move. After this move, he plays queen takes e4. And here in the book, it shows what happens if white plays knight c4. The problem is that he arrives at move 22, where I have my thumb, and stop there without giving really an evaluation. But his evaluation is that it's black is better. And then he gives all this line between parentheses. It would have made more sense to give all the line without the parentheses and show you that black was better. I will show you this line because in my opinion it makes sense. So we have two choices, queen takes e4, knight takes e4. He says this is the good move, this is not good. Why? Would you see it from here? No, obviously not, so you need to see the entire line. B takes e3, queen e3, knight d4, like he told you, b4 was made to get access to d4. And here it says black also has excellent piece play after, and it shows us another line. Okay, so let's go back for a second. Okay, instead of knight takes c4, he says, let's play c takes b4. And this is the line that I told you when it enters between parentheses, and I don't know why. C takes b3, bishop takes b3, and knight d4. And here it stops. Then he puts another line between parentheses that is queen b2, bishop b7, knight g4, knight takes g4, h takes g4, knight takes b3, queen takes b3, and rook d4. Here he doesn't write anything. As you can see, it's at the end of a parenthesis, no? But he doesn't write an evaluation. It would have made sense to write that black is better. Why black is better? Because bishop pair, one. The bishops are attacking everything. The rook is well positioned, attacking everything. Other bishop attacking this. So clearly, between the two positions, black, if I had to choose which side to play, I want to play black. I don't want to play white, because I think white is losing. But again, if maybe you are rated 1000 and you continue to click on the engine to know what is the evaluation, you don't know why it's better for black, especially if the author doesn't write anything. So now let me return back to the position as it was. Okay guys, I'm really upset because in fact I cannot put back a position correctly if I don't repeat the moves from the beginning or check a diagram. And here in fact there wasn't a diagram, and we would have needed it because he put really a lot of variations, which is good, okay? It's good that the author put a lot of variation to explain what happens if. But if you don't have a diagram, every time you have to return to that position by moving from the beginning. Otherwise, you risk that you forget. I tell you what happened. I forgot one pawn here, I forgot the bishop here. It was bad, so it's not a good idea, right? So, queen takes e4, h6, and now I want you guys to pause the video and try to find what is white next move, okay? Because I think it's kind of important. Pause the video and try to find it. By the way, I also paused the video because I wanted to taste the position a little better, and obviously one of my problems is I see this attack and I think to defend it, right? To move it away. But this is not the way a title player or a grandmaster plays. When they see something attack, they attack something else stronger. So the move that Fischer played was knight d5, okay? And after knight takes d5, e takes d5, there is h takes g5, okay? But Soltis says that it would have made more sense to trade the bishop pair with bishop takes g5. Also, if after all the exchanges white is a little better. Let me show you why, okay? Bishop takes g5, h takes g5, queen takes e6, queen takes e6, d takes e6, rook d2, and rook a c1. Okay, and here it says white is still a little better. I honestly think that if you take here, yes, this is pass, but then white has two pass pawns. And that's the real problem why I consider white better. So maybe that is the reason. And again, Soltis doesn't explain why. So let's go back to the position as it was. So we were after this brilliant move by Fischer, that was exchange, and take instead of exchanging the bishops. He played queen takes c6, queen takes c6, d takes c6. Honestly, another thing I wanted to share is after watching these 4 or 5 games by Fischer, I felt his style was kind of dry. What do I mean for dry? That he really plays like a kind of engine, in the sense that he achieves a minimum advantage and then he knows how to convert it, and there is nothing you can do about it. And so I found it very, very strange, this kind of style, because I'm less precise, but in some position I'm not like that. I really play in a different manner. So maybe it makes sense that we have different personalities as chess players. That's kind of interesting, I think, right? Okay, it seems that post-mortem they tried to improve the black position with this move, but it failed, and there is a kind of 3 moves line that doesn't prove much because here rook takes e5, and now there is bishop f6. So also here there are some lines because it show in case black played bishop f5. No? It says if you played bishop f5. Well, it's kind of interesting. But okay, bishop f6 was played. Let's see. Rook e, a5, and rook f, e8. So both sides have a bishop pair, but what do we see here in this position? I think in this position what we see is white that has 2 passed pawns. And that's not a joke, that's incredible. And we are at move 27. Okay, let me pause for a second. Okay guys, I saw that this video reached 23 minutes, which to me it's a little too long. And so I will pause the video here and do the second part from this position in another video.